we will continue our discussion on IC engine. Today we will discuss about combustion in SI and CI engines and then pressure crank angle diagram. So, we will not discuss in detail about the combustion, but we will give some, we will see that what are the different aspects when we talk about combustion in SI and CI engines, and is there any difference between the combustion process when we talk about spark ignition engine and compression ignition engine. So, before we go to discuss about combustion in SI engine or CI engines, I will just try to discuss about a few important things that I could not discuss in my last lecture, that is some alternative fuels. We have discussed about fuels, what are the special characteristics of the fuel we should look for when we use either for SI engine and CI engine, and in that context we have discussed about Cetane number and octane number. So, today we will discuss about maybe I will discuss in a very short time frame that what is the why you use alternate fuel, why you need for alternative fuels, and what are the advantages and disadvantages when we use alternative fuels in the operation of internal combustion engine. So, that we have that alternative fuels or alternate fuel, net fuels. So, one is that alcohol is very important, and then we will have hydrogen. So, we know that we can use hydrogen, methane and alcohol as an alternate fuel. So, alcohol alcohols are very attractive alternative fuels. So, these alcohols we may have, then we may have hydrogen. Also, we can use natural gas as an alternate fuel. So, alcohol is very attractive. Alcohols are very attractive alternate fuel. And because of what? Because hydrogen also used as an alternate fuel, but alcohols are attractive alternate fuel because of several reasons. First of all, these alcohols can be obtained from different sources, can be obtained from a number of sources, both natural and manufactured. So, these alcohols are obtained from different sources, natural and manufactured, natural as well as manufactured. So, this is very important. Number 2 is very important, is that among the alternate fuels, alcohols they are promising, and in a recently developed engines, they are used because of their inherent qualities. So, we will discuss one by one what are the important features which are associated with alcohol, so that we can use alcohol as an alternate fuel in internal combustion engine. So, they are having some characteristics which are inherent in alcohol as an alternate fuel. So, normally two kinds of alcohol are used as a fuel in IC engine. One is methanol or methyl alcohol. Another is ethanol, ethyl alcohol. So, these two kinds of alcohols are commonly used as a fuel in internal combustion engine, but these are attractive because of they are obtained from different sources, maybe from natural and also they can be manufactured. Also there are some characteristics, I mean special qualities which are inherent to this alternate fuels, which which make them most promising and alternate fuel in most of the recently developed engine. So we will discuss. Fine. So what are the advantages, what are the advantages of alcohol as a fuel? So we need to know, as I said, maybe they are obtained from natural and we also can manufacture them, but still see the advantageous features. So advantages of alcohol as alternate fuel, So what are those? Number one, as I said, that obtained from different sources, which include natural, they can be manufactured. Number two is very important. Alcohol, basically a fuel whose octane number is very high, octane number is high with anti-knock index number, octane number is high with anti-knock index numbers over 100, with anti-knock index number. This is very good quality of the fuel, that anti-knock index, anti-knock index numbers of over 100. So since octane number is high, we can use these fuels for an engine which is having higher compression ratio. So since octane number is high, they can be used more efficiently in engines with higher compression ratios. So since octane number is high, so we can use these fuels for more efficiently in engines with higher compression ratio. Number three, that if we compare to the gasoline, the emission rate is low. So in general, emissions are low as compared to those of the gasoline. So if we use gasoline as a fuel, then we have higher emissions, higher rate of emissions, but if we use alcohol as an alternate fuel in internal combustion engine, in general emissions are less as compared to those of the gasoline. Another important is that is having very important is that higher high evaporating cooling. So this are having high evaporative cooling, HFG. So if we have high evaporative cooling, then what will be the extra advantage we can get if you use alcohol as an alternate fuel? So that means we can results in a cooler intake process and compression strokes. It helps to have cooler intake process and compression stroke. Thereby it increases volumetric efficiency of the engine. volumetric efficiency of the engine. That means, if we have high evaporative cooling, we can have cooler intake process and compression stroke, which in turn increases the volumetric efficiency of the engine. And number 5 is very important, that sulfur content is low. Sulfur content is low in these fuels. Fine. So, we have listed down the advantageous features which are there if we use alcohols as alternate fuel. So, whenever we are discussing the advantageous features, we cannot ignore the disadvantages which are associated with these fuels if we use. So, what are the disadvantages? Number 1, similarly I can write disadvantages of alcohols as alternate fuels. Number 1 is very important, that low energy content. Energy content is not very high, low energy content. Number 2 is also that more aldehyde in the exhaust. If as much alcohol fuel was consumed as gasoline, aldehyde emissions would have a serious exhaust pollution problem. So, it is having more aldehyde, in the exhaust, more aldehydes in the exhaust. That means, we will have a serious, exhaust pollution problem. Number 3 is also important, it is much more corrosion, it is having much more corrosive than gasoline, right. So, these are the disadvantages. Not only that, we are also having several others, that is poor ignition characteristics, Number 5, flame which is not visible, and sometimes I mean, see, if flame is not visible, then it may leads to severe problem, that it will be that flame is not visible, which becomes dangerous when handling fuel. Also, since alcohols are miscible with water, so miscible with water, that means leakage may contaminate groundwater. So, these are the disadvantages. Fine. So, you have seen. So, as I said you that methanol, in general these are the advantages and disadvantages feature. Also, we have another problem, that is called vapor lock in fuel delivery systems. As I said you that it is having high evaporative cooling. So, it allows us to have cooler intake and as well as the compression ratio. So, this vapor lock in fuel delivery system. So, it is having vapor lock in the fuel delivery system. So, these are the disadvantages of alcohol if we use as an alternate fuel. But as I said you that we use normally methanol and ethanol as alternate fuel. Methanol and ethanol, these are used, has been used for many years. Basically, these two are used for many years in various regions of the world. I mean these two alcohols are used as an alternate fuel for the many years in different in the world, different countries in the world. So these are the fine. Apart from this, we also can have hydrogen as an alternate fuel. So we can have hydrogen as an alternate fuel. So hydrogen is basically, it is used, I mean it is a possible major fuel in of the future to replace the eventual dwindling of gasoline supplies. So if we use hydrogen as a fuel, we can have again advantages and disadvantages. So advantages are, so hydrogen can replace the eventual dwindling of the gasoline maybe supplies, because we can have it is a very good alternate fuel we can use. So advantage is that it is having high octane number, right, low emission, as I said you, high octane number we can use with higher compression ratio. So availability, there are number of ways of having obtaining hydrogen. Hydrogen, maybe natural gas, number of ways of obtaining hydrogen, natural gas or electrolysis of water, etc. So these are the advantageous features. So we can use by through electrolysis of water and natural gas. But one of the important problem is that we have to compress, otherwise handling such volume of hydrogen, it will be difficult. So storage could be a problem until unless we can liquefy it. So that will be only the problem. Otherwise we can use hydrogen as a good alternate fuel in most of the internal combustion engine. Okay. So now we should move to discuss about few combustion. We will discuss not in detail, but we will discuss. So at first we will discuss combustion in SI engine. So what is combustion in SI engine? This combustion in SI engine can be broadly classified into two different categories. We will discuss one by one, because we have, if you try to recall that during intake stroke in most of the internal SI engine, we have taken air fuel mixture through carburetor. We will discuss in one of my in next lecture, that probably next lecture, that nowadays this carburation is replaced by fuel injection system. And what are the problems we have discussed if we have carbureted system in supplying air fuel mixture into the SI engine, and how we can remove those problems if we use fuel injection system, whatever it is. So we take fuel air mixture charge during intake stroke, then you compress it, and at the end of the compression you need to switch on the spark plug, and as a result of which we have high pressure and temperature rise, and then entire combustion will be completed. So this, whenever combustion is taking place in SI engine, we can classify combustion into two different categories. One is known as normal combustion, another is known as abnormal combustion. Abnormal combustion is classified two different categories. One is known as pre-ignition, we will discuss in detail. Another is known as detonation or knocking. This is very undesirable phenomenon, detonation or knocking. So let me tell you, combustion is essentially appearance of visible flame. So when you have combustion, maybe we ignite charge using a spark plug. So that leads to the total combustion and entire charge take part, as a result of which we have rise in pressure and temperature. So combustion is that is whether combustion has started or the entire charge combusted, that is basically realized through the visible flame. So the appearance of visible flame indicates that combustion has started. So in case of a normal combustion, in case of normal combustion, the flame that is being produced, the flame initiated or produced initiated by the spark plug travels across the combustion chamber in a fairly uniform manner. So, in case of a normal combustion, as I said you that the combustion is basically realized to the appearance of visible flame in the combustion chamber. In case of a normal combustion, when you start the spark plug, that means the flame that is being initiated developed by the spark plug that travels across the combustion chamber in a fairly uniform manner. There is no certain disturbance. So, this is normal combustion, but it is very unlikely that we will have a normal combustion in almost all the internal combustion engines, of course in a spark ignition engine. While abnormal combustion, we may not have a fairly uniform, rather uniform movement of the flame, rather in a fairly uniform manner, rather the flame that is being developed, that is being produced, that is being initiated from the spark, that when it travels in the combustion chamber, that is getting disturbed by different other flames, and it leads to one undesirable phenomenon which is known as detonation and knocking. We will discuss by how the flame that is being developed or that is being initiated by the spark plug is getting disturbed because of the other flames, and whenever we are talking about other flames in the combustion chamber, what is the sources, what are the sources of that small flame or flames in the combustion chamber in detail, and because of what we will have a erratic movement of the main flame that is being produced by the spark plug, and sometimes it leads to an undesirable phenomenon of detonation and knocking. So, we will discuss in detail, and also we will discuss in detail about the pressure rise during the combustion process, that and if we switch on the spark plug maybe little away, little before it occurrence, also because of pre-ignition we will see that the pressure rise in the combustion chamber will be even higher, and it sometimes leads to an undesirable sometimes leads to the reduction in efficiency of the internal combustion engine. So, we will discuss those aspects in detail, and also we will discuss that whenever we are having this erratic movement of the main flame being produced by the spark plug and leading to detonation and knocking in the internal combustion engine, of course spark ignition engine, what are the preventive measures we can take essentially to prevent, essentially to stop that erratic movement, or I can't say that we can really stop that, but we can reduce the occurrence of such events in the internal combustion engine. We will discuss those aspects in detail in my next lecture. So, with this I stop here now, and I will continue my discussion in the next lecture. Thank you.